So no, even with kayak fishing, I enjoy kayak fishing a lot. I don't do it as much because I have to be injured. See, once again, I get hurt. I do kayak fishing and podcast.
No more pigeon dries. The laugh's coming soon. Maybe you get hurt out there. I don't know.
If it comes up, the pigeon dries is my bass. Oh, you're talking about my swim on there?
Dude, that was gnarly, bro. It just everything looked so intentional.
What do you mean?
Like, okay, so when you were in the hole and you went to release,
okay,
it looked like you timed it up and positioned your body so that when you released, you would be in the flow and it kicked you out instead of like getting resurfed.
No, you want to know what I was really trying to do?
I do.
So, number one, I was deathly ill that day. So I didn't even want to paddle, but Riley and Shane had never done that run, and I knew they'd have a good time. And I actually vomited on the right drive there. So I pulled over on 26, got out of my car, and vomited behind it. And I messaged Riley, and I said, hey, man, I'm not going to make it. I was like, I feel like crap. I was like, I really don't want to paddle. I don't think it's a good idea. Not on this run. And then he's like, oh, man, we're like 10 minutes away. And I'm like, you know what? Screw. All right, I'll see you at the put-in. So I just said, screw it. So I got to the put-in. I threw up again once I got down. I had a bad stomach virus going on, and I had diarrhea. It was like, it's like, obviously that sounds like excuses, but my energy level was like way down. But you know what? I'm like, I know this run like the back of my hand. I'm just going to blast through everything. I'm in a scorch. Nothing stops a scorch, right? So I'm going down, and I knew that hole was coming, and I told them beforehand, big hole coming up. But I love boofing big holes in that scorch and blasting out of it. So as soon as I boofed and blasted, I landed flat and then went over and got caught in the side surf, and I knew right away that's one of the worst holes to get out of. But I also knew what was behind it, which is nowhere to land, which is a very, very dangerous rapid to swim, where if you swam that rapid without safety, your chances of getting hurt or killed are very high, because there's rebar in the bottom of the river in all the side things, and there's undercut on both left and right. And I swam through a sieve on the bottom, and my brain knows this. So here's what I was trying to do. Back to what I was trying to do. I locked in, I did a few moves to get out of it, and then I felt my energy level. I was exhausted. For whatever reason, I did a loop, I did a spin, and I could see that the waves, it was high on both the back and front, and I was like, man, I'm totally screwed here. I'm going to have to swim out of this because they're already downstream. There's nothing I could do. So then I was like, I got one ditch effort. Get up on the foam pile, pull your skirt, roll, let it fill up with water, and then paddle out, because the boat will weigh down with water and it'll shoot you out. So what I did, I actually pulled and rolled into the trough at the same time to try to fill up the boat. And you know what it did? All the water went in and it ejected me like a, like a turd, boop, right out. And I was like, oh my God, I'm in the water. But I still have my paddle, so I was trying to use it to get to the bank real fast, and that's when I knew I was screwed. I was going to swim. So actually what I was trying to do was roll and let it fill up with water, because this has happened to me in the past. I've actually rolled in a hole and filled up with water, and it's pushed me, and then I paddled a boat. I'd much rather paddle a swamp boat than be swimming a rapid like that, and then jump out down when it's a little safer. That's what I was originally trying to do, but it didn't work out. I got ejected out of that thing fast, and I was like, oh God, no.
Swim through a sieve?
The right side is very sieved out, and I when I was swimming down the right side, I knew that this was probably the end of me because there's a lot of rebar in there too. If you ever go in there, there's all these wires that have squares in them that's wired where the interstate was built and they've rolled it down and there's garbage and all that. And I actually swam in that and went out and went underwater and then pushed off the backside of it and then swam out the backside. And then I was like, wow, I came out the bottom. I was like, oh my God, I actually made it. I was like, I never really got nervous. I guess I've ruined all of my, what is that? Not my adrenaline, but I've been close to getting wiped out so many times that you don't really get nervous till you're almost about to die. And then I was thinking, this is probably not going to be good for me. And I was like, man, I don't want to get hurt. I'm thinking of this our brains can process so much.
It's so fast, yeah.
I'm like, I'm going to break a leg. I'm going to break a leg. I'm going to be so pissed off if I break a leg. And I was like, uh-oh, I'm going to go in this sieve. I was like, this is bad. This is bad. Uh-oh, this is real bad. But I came out the backside and got down at the bottom, and I was fine. And I was like, oh, man. I was more pissed that I
grabbed the side little...
Yeah. They're bar. That's that wire I was talking about. That wire, that wire is actually everywhere underwater there. When it's high, when it's normal flows, you're never going to go over there. You won't go over there, but I know what it's like at high water, and I've always thought if somebody swam right, and I was thinking that too, if I swam right over the center of Nowhere to Land, there's a reason it's called Nowhere to Land, because it's a big flat rock, and this is all undercut behind it, and it's sieved out. So if I would have fell down in there, the water would just covered me up, and it'd been, I'd been on the struggle bus for real then, but I didn't go that way. I decided to go right. So you got an option of left or right there, and I went right. I swam right, but I got out of it. It was one of my worst swims, that's for sure. I was not happy about it, but I did find my boat downstream and finish the run. And luckily, I just knew. Usually, when somebody swims there, you ain't finding that boat. That boat's going to end up in the town of Hartwell somewhere. Some farmers. No, I jogged the interstate down and I seen it floating in the eddy. It was floating in an eddy downstream. Yeah, it wasn't destroyed or anything. The paddle, luckily, was just right there beside me. It didn't go far at all because I held on to it. I always tell everybody, try to hold on to your paddle. Unless you think you're going to die, don't let go of that paddle. Use the paddle to get out of the river. Don't just throw everything and just float. What would you rather have, these while you're swimming or those big paddle blades? And use your vest for flotation and try to get, unless you think it's going to cause you trouble and you're going to get wedged in something, I only threw it when I knew I was going in the sieve because I didn't want to lock up on the paddle and get locked. I just tossed it right as I was falling into it. You could see the point where I let go. I was just like, screw this. Now I need to...
though, because, and this is something I actually even talked about in Rules for South with Adrian. She brought this up. A lot of guys that are at your level, and let's be real here, you're one of the elite paddlers.
Okay. Let me adjust my hat.
They don't share their accidents and mistakes and stuff. So the simple fact, you know how many guys you probably helped because you shared your swim? Guys that were like struggling. Guys that were struggling with their confidence. Like, look at these guys. They do all this shit. I suck. I can't paddle. And then they see like a hero. Like,
yeah, and, I'm like, it is what it is. I knew it was a bad swim, and I was trying, and I wanted to show that I practice a lot, that I preach. If I preach, hold on to your paddle, try to paddle out of the river, and then I swim and I don't do it. It's like, this guy don't even go by his own things. And then I practice, I'm like, before you bail out of a boat, I suggest pulling the skirt, try to let it fill up with water, and sometimes you can just paddle right out of a big hole. I tried that, and I'm like, just don't ever give up. Keep paddling really hard. Don't go back limp and just hope somebody's going, because I hate to break it to you, nobody's coming to save you, buddy. It's like when those burly swims like that, it's just you and the river. That's a self-rescue.
I think you just gave me a Stout Stories too.
Oh God! Oh, I'm you're gonna have me on a Stout meme for going on.
I think I have to do. I mean, it would be fitting too because my first Stout Story episode was Alex Singer.
Oh yeah, he about his dislocated shoulder. Yeah, he messaged me. He messaged me and told me he was coming on, and then you messaged me about the footage. Yeah. And I was like, yeah. And dude, I've right now it's crazy. I just recently relocated. I put another shoulder in on the green just a few weeks ago.
What?
Whoa, guys, that was intense. Leave a comment below. Tell me what you think. What would be going through your mind? I'd be freaking out. I know that much. Leave a comment below. To watch Wade's full video, click the link in the description and be sure to check out his channel and drop some likes. Alright, Yak fam, be sure to drop a like, share it around social media with your friends, and if you haven't already, please subscribe.
Yeah, but if my shoulder's dislocated, I'll tell you what to do. I'll be like, here, put mine back in.